Hey everyone, it's the end of the week and let's have a look at the markets and where we stand going forward into the Sabbath and preparing ourselves for the next week ahead. So starting off, we're looking at the DXY dollar index, and we can see right now that it's really doing very well this year. We're not seeing any abating in lower numbers. DXY continues to push pretty much this 97 level where it peaked back at the midway through last month. Do we think we're going to go over it before the end of the year? I wouldn't rule it out. Remember, we went all the way up past 100 only 2 years ago, and I think really this time of uncertainty that we saw all the way through 2017 due to the election, Trump trade, and so on, and then with the rate hikes that the Fed brought in, we're seeing that they've got the dollar pretty much under control, and for the last year it's been pretty much sideways to slightly bullish move. So until we see the DXY abate and come down at all, expect to see commodity prices and stock prices and so on to reflect that we have a strong dollar, and not likely to see commodity prices gain too much. So have a look over at the cryptocurrencies, see what's going on over there across board. Just as the data comes in here, just load it one more time. So as you can see, just to get all the symbols up here, this is NEO down here. Bitcoin Cash took a major dump yesterday. Ethereum grinding away lower lows, and down here on Litecoin you see pretty much symmetrical markets across all the top six. Interestingly enough, I didn't include Stellar here because it's essentially the same as Ripple. That's why I keep NEO on here. Interesting enough to say that the ATRs, that's what I have here on the red line on my bottom indicator, that's the average true range. So when this spikes up, we have an opportunity for trading depth. As you see on Bitcoin Cash yesterday, the true range went through the roof, and so we lost the floor actually in that trade. So you see that it just sold off strongly. And yeah, Bitcoin Cash, whether or not it'll recover from here, who knows. But with the hard fork, it's certainly not helped things. So let's look inside of Bitcoin and start to dig this apart. What you see here is that I have the moving averages and buying volume. Although volume has picked up of recent, we haven't seen a lot of buying support. The bulls have managed to defend the 4K or 3K level somewhat, although as of today it is testing lower lows just at the bottom of the range. And yeah, it's looking that maybe we will see this support break and we will go sub 3K in the event of another sell-off. It's really not a lot in it now, so we're down at 300. 3K would be the current psychological level where maybe a lot of people might pull their stops out and call it a day. Going back, we had that excellent run up to the 20K mark, just falling short of it. The volume which we saw back then in December, it's never returned to the market, and although there's been a little bit of a stagnation for the last 2 months, and then we had the break to the downside, although volume has kind of picked up, just to bring to people's attention, the volume during the last run, although comparable to now, we had major spikes, major buy-in days, major movement, and we've not really seen that come back. It is starting to come back somewhat. Volume is starting to pick up, but yeah, we still at around sort of 75%, 60% of the volume that we were seeing last year in November. So volume's not really arrived back yet. So if you're thinking of buying, I will wait until these lower lows are out of the view and we're actually seeing some higher highs, because I mean there's no reason as you see, I don't draw anything on my charts because it's not a way that I trade, but I know a lot of people use the triangle and stuff just to, make a point. Polygons can be drawn on pretty much any 3-point vector, so drawing a triangle, you can continually move a triangle and move it and move it. It's not really a trading structure, so that's why I don't use them. This level, it can go potentially if there's just no buyers coming in and we see more sellers. This was acting as a floor at 6K purely because people didn't want to sell lower. That was what they thought was the floor. And then when we had the hard fork, yeah, it fell out of bed and it's way down. There's no reason to say it can't take another leg down, just like there's no reason to say it can't revert back up and do a diamond reversal, or the Bart Simpson as it's been known in the crypto Twitter community. So, anything's possible. And that's why I favor a straddle in this position, like I was straddling here. You just place your orders slightly outside of the range, and if it breaks out, you're going to be triggered into the trade and you can trail it. So there's no point like just sitting there holding if you don't know which way it's going, right? So that's Bitcoin at the moment. As you can see, we're really back to where we were last year, and it kind of just looks like a massive impulse, just like it did all the way back when we go back in time and zoom in, on these tiny little blips down here. Now, past results are not indicative of future performance, so we don't know if we're going to get the same outcome, but we go into these little blips down the way, and yeah, we can, look what happened here. We had that impulse and it fell out of bed and it came right back to where it came from, and then it grew out of that. And if we just zoom in on that, this is a 2017 relief rally. So if we just look just down there in 2017, yeah, so here when we came out of the relief rally, you see that we came back to where we were prior to the initial jump, the initial run. We came back to prior, if not touching really on the lows. And then we started to see a progressional growth all the way through January, February, March. And then another correction in April, and that's when it really took off. If that's going to happen again, just hold on to your shorts, yeah? You don't want to be buying here thinking that that's the low if it's going to keep going down, yeah? And you don't know where it's going to cast that bottom. Don't try and pick bottoms and tops. Just get involved on the trade. That would be my best advice on how to ensure you're having an enjoyable experience in the markets. Ethereum is looking, pretty dire, really. It's dumped out and back to exactly where it was last year, and it's really testing lower lows at under $100. There's not much of a trading range though, and people are still running projects and developing on Ethereum and its smart contract platform, Solidity, its coding language. Whether or not we'll see a recovery will probably be coincidental with Bitcoin doing a phoenix-like move from the ashes. Now, Ripple, the standard, has been trading within a fairly tight range, and it's got a lot of really bullish sentiment. Let's just go out onto a much higher time frame. Yeah, so here we have just some GAN I left on there. Now if we just clear these drawings off 1 second, it's just from the last short I put in. So yeah, we have this interesting interaction prior where it was a resistance turned support. Whether or not this is still going to be valid, like going much forward, or if it's actually moved up a bit now, only time will tell. For Ripple to get to past $1 and keep on climbing up into the higher levels, then we're going to need to see some trading range return. At the moment it's pretty much stagnant, and hopefully that'll come with some impulse when we see some news and updates come from the Ripple team. and we'll see this market start to come back to life. So again, it's a crypto winter right now. Things are kind of, yeah, they're getting desperate. A lot of people are panicking and they're gonna sell to get liquid for Christmas possibly. So it's not been favorable the way that people were hoping it would turn out. And looking at Neo here again, we have the same. It's not really a lot of alpha in the market. There's no difference. Everything holds a close beta to Bitcoin. We have that parabolic bull run that we saw across all of the cryptos following the breakdown. Although in Neo there's been a lot of volume pickup of late, so maybe they know something we don't know. But yeah, volume is definitely starting to come back to the coin. But again, comparable, really, it's not enough yet to get the price to move at all. And there's far too many bag holders who bought higher up and want to just get out of the market. So yeah, that about wraps it up for now, and I'll give another review on Monday. And yeah, thanks very much for listening. I hope that helps you trading, and let me know if you have any questions in the comments, or you want me to do any look at any of your other cryptos or anything. And yeah, until next time, thanks very much. Cheers.